Meditation didn't fix my anxiety, but now I know how to live with it without letting it control me. So when I first started meditating, I thought that sitting in meditation would make me feel better. But after 6 years of daily practice, I've learned that meditation doesn't fix anxiety. What it does is change your relationship with it. It changes how you interact with it. It changes how you respond to it and how you live with it. If this is a topic that interests you, check out my online course, Yin-Yang Elemental Wisdom for Anxiety Relief. You can find it in the description below. So here are 3 ways that meditation has helped me with my anxiety. Number 1, meditation trains you to be observant. So meditation is a practice of observation. We're observing our thoughts, our emotions, our sensations, and we're just noticing what happens in our body and our mind. And this becomes a habit. The more you practice meditation, the more observant you become, and you become more aware of what's happening in your body. You become very sensitive to any changes in your body and your mind. And before meditation, I always used to try and suppress my anxiety. I would try to run away from it, distract myself from it. Anxiety is a very uncomfortable experience, and I didn't want to sit with that discomfort. But sitting in meditation allowed me to practice observing uncomfortable thoughts and emotions. And this was really helpful because it taught me that I can sit with uncomfortable thoughts and emotions. It's not as scary as I think it is, and I can do it. I'm very familiar with the very first signs now, how it feels in my body and my mind, because I'm very sensitive to the changes now. So when I notice anxiety at the onset, I'm able to respond immediately. So I'm so much more proactive than I used to be, because now I also have the tools to soothe my anxiety. I know what I need in that moment, and I know how to give it to myself. So now I no longer try to suppress the anxiety. I actually am very proactive about observing it and responding to it. Number 2, meditation trains you to be non-judgmental. So, as I said, in meditation, we sit and practice observing our thoughts and emotions. And what we become aware of is all the ways in which we judge our thoughts and emotions. So it's all those little comments like, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, this is fun, this is boring, and it goes on. We have judgments about everything. And meditation teaches us that it's these judgments that make us more miserable than we need to be. Because yes, you can have an uncomfortable thought, you can have an uncomfortable emotion, but we can leave it at that, or we can then add layers of judgment onto it that make us feel worse. So I used to really judge anxiety. I used to judge myself for being so anxious. So when I would feel anxiety, I would start thinking things like, why are you anxious again? Why can't you be stronger than this? Why are you so weak? How do I get rid of this? This sucks. I don't want to feel this anymore. I don't want anyone to know about this. And it made me so miserable. I didn't need to have such a hard time, but all these judgmental thoughts in my mind were making the situation worse. So meditation teaches us to be very objective about our emotions. If we're feeling anxious, we just notice that we're anxious and we leave it at that. And we practice not making any comments, not making any judgments about what we're experiencing. And this is really helpful when we're feeling anxious, because you may not be as cruel to yourself as I used to be, but I'm sure you still judge yourself and the experience of anxiety in your own way. And it's so helpful to catch yourself in the moment and drop those judgmental comments and let your anxiety be. Just be present with it and just notice it. And you might be thinking, well, okay, so if I just notice it, then what? And that leads me to number 3. Meditation teaches us to not identify with our emotions. So when we're feeling really anxious, it can be really overwhelming, really consuming, and it can feel like we have no control over the situation. But actually, the reason for all of this is our attachment to the situation. So it might sound weird to think that we would attach to an uncomfortable and painful experience like anxiety. But this is what happens when we identify with it. We think that it's a part of us, so naturally we feel that attachment. So when we sit in meditation and we observe our emotions, we become aware that all emotions are impermanent. They come and go. All emotional experiences are temporary, which is proof that they are not a part of who we are. They're just temporary energies that are passing through our bodies. And this is such an important awareness to have, because it then shifts our mindset from I am anxious to I am feeling anxious. So this also has to do with language. In English, we say I am anxious, and it's identifying with the experience. But actually, we are not anxiety, right? We're just having that temporary experience. So being aware of the impermanence of anxiety and of all of our emotions is really helpful in that situation when it feels like it's never ending. And I know what that feels like, because there was a time when I was chronically anxious, and it's a really difficult experience to have. But it was really helpful for me to sit in meditation every day and remind myself of how temporary all of our emotions are. And that reminder during meditation really supported me throughout the day, because I could remind myself that this is going to pass. And I think there's a common misconception about meditation, and it's that it provides instant relief. So if you're stressed, if you're upset, if you're anxious, just go sit in meditation and you'll be okay. And I've learned that the act of sitting in meditation isn't what provides the relief. It's the consistent practice that gives us the tools that change our experience. It's these tools that change our relationship with anxiety. It changes the way we respond to it and the way we feel about it. Anxiety no longer becomes a problem or something to fear. It just becomes a natural part of life that you know how to deal with, and you know that you'll be okay when anxiety kicks in again. So it's sitting in meditation and practicing observation, non-judgment, and non-attachment that allows us to live very full lives, even with anxiety. And it supports us to show up for our lives without letting anxiety get in the way.